Farid, did you know that February 13th is World Radio Day?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people know that there is such a thing as World Radio Day. Now, World Radio Day was designated by UNESCO on the 3rd of November in 2011. Interesting. Considering we need to know this because we have 98 FM and Surya under Star Media Group. So that is good to know to celebrate our DJs who
Cheer
go
up.
through the grind and cheer up people when they need it. We're back with our new season of Life in the City, and it's going to be a good one. But before that, let's talk about the festivities that are coming up. We have Taipusam, Chinese New Year, and before we know it, it's going to be Ramadan. So do check out our stories on the Star Online for all of that. And right, let's get to our show today. We have one of our endeared DJs, or I find him endearing because of his voice. We have Wang Piau Ming, also known as PM from 988 FM.
Hello everybody.
Welcome, PM.
Thank
So
you very
happy
much
to
for
have you
having
here.
me. Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you think about World Radio Day and how it celebrates radio and broadcasting and, well, now, DJs and all of that?
To me, every day is World Radio Day.
I would imagine.
Yeah, because you was talking about whether we remember. I actually do not remember. But every day, every year on that particular day, we have a little bit of celebration. We talk about that on air and things like that. But basically, I think World Radio Day is very important to the radio industry. Also
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
us, we feel like we are being seen. We are being in the central stage at that particular point of time on that day, and it's fun. It's fun to be treated like a star.
I'm sure. I think we're also feeling that or have felt that when we started our podcast. But let's get back to radio. When I tune into your show, although you conduct your show in Mandarin,
Yes.
I have always found your voice to be sultry and soothing. And your voice travels through people's car speakers or at home on their Bluetooth speakers or whatever speakers they're listening to. And so today we want to know all about you and your work, PM. Why don't you tell us how you first entered the radio industry?
It is actually a very interesting journey because to me it's a lifelong dream to be a radio announcer. But public speaking started off as a punishment for me when I was a kid. Yeah, because I was and I still am probably a very talkative boy in school. Teachers do not like that, because I only come to realize why I was like that or why I am like that. I'm still like that now because in class, every time teacher teaches something, I would have a different angle of it. For example, if she say 2 plus 1 is 3, then I'll start to wonder, does that mean 3 minus 2 equals to 1, even though we haven't come to a stage whereby deduction is being taught in the syllabus? So I will start discussing that with my friends and say, so, Aida, does it mean, 3 minus 2 will become 1? Then we'll have a conversation of our own. Teachers do not like that. And there was this once when I was chit-chatting with my friends because of that and everything. My teachers decided that since you like talking so much, you represent the class to participate in our storytelling competition.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a punishment initially. I had to do it. And somehow I got a champion in that particular competition. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, I have a talent in public speaking. But the radio announcer thing, the radio DJ thing didn't come into picture until I fell in love with music, during our teenage years. We listen to radio, we listen to pop music, and I find it to be a career that can bring me close to music. At the same time, giving me a chance to say my thoughts, because I have a lot of conversation with my friends, and I realize that I have a different sense of understanding of things compared to my friends, and they find it interesting. So radio announcer becomes something which is something which I think suits me very well. I can enjoy the music at the same time. I get to bring out my thoughts and get to share my thoughts. But it wasn't a professional that most traditional family encourages.
Yes, you did tell us before we went on air that you are a trained accountant.
Yes, I
Tell us
am a trained
about that. How
accountant.
did you make that shift?
Um, it is something which I had to get into because accountant is obviously a profession which most family, most parents will be approve of. So I did that in order to please them. But at the same time, I'm the kind of person who get into something, then I will be like putting my head into it full time, and I get to learn a lot. I actually enjoy the process, even though uh, I was in science stream and my science subjects were horrible. And when I got into accounting during my university days, it was something which, oh, okay, this makes sense. I like things with logic. Science to me, something which I can't see. Give me the chemistry, the table. I can't see the components of it. I can't see the atom. I can't see the protons. I just can't. But when it comes to accounting, numbers are easy. 1 + 1 is
Yes,
two.
it's all tangible. Yeah.
And it actually set up a system which makes sense to me. Logic. We are doing recording to get things done. So in that sense, I actually embrace it. So I accepted the fact that I am an accountant. I was an accountant, and I got into the industry. I became an accountant and things like that. But somehow the radio announcer thing was still in me because I still like music. I started writing music at the time, publishing some of it, and I get to know people in the industry. But I don't have a chance in it because compared to those who are in the industry much earlier, usually when it comes to radio announcer, you get into the industry when you are in your teens or early 20s. Yeah, because DJ need to be young and vibrant. So throughout my 20s, I actually did try. I sent in my audition tape and things like that, but I failed. I just failed.
What, you failed in your eyes, or did they
No.
tell you failed?
They tell me I failed.
Oh, I see.
I actually did send my audition tape to 98 when I was 24 years old. And we had an interview, audition, everything, and nothing came out of it. Basically, I gave up on it right when I was 30. So on the 30th birthday, I told myself, let's stop dreaming about this. Let's stop this because you need to put a stop on it. I need to put my heart into the things which matter more at that point of time. Right at the point where I gave up, I got a chance. RTM had a sort of like a star search thing, and they do not have age limit. They require a university degree. So at that time, even now, you do not need a university degree to get into the radio announcer, industry. But at the time when they said that, oh, that's our requirements, like, is this made for me? I had a university degree, and I'm still interested in it, so I decided to try, and somehow I got it.
Do you know something? Before I joined the Star,
Mhm.
before moving to Klang Valley, I auditioned to be a radio announcer.
Oh, you did.
And they didn't give me the job because I didn't have qualification.
Oh.
And I was thinking, how qualified do I need to be to announce traffic updates? Really? But anyway,
Yeah.
that's all history, and here I am.
Pim, I'm kind of interested to know. I mean, when you made this transition from being an accountant to being a DJ, I'm sure people in your life had opinions.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we talked about this in our last episode where we talked about, like, for example, for me, I have a degree in master in engineering, but then I
Get as a journalist.
yeah,
Yes.
now work as a journalist.
Yeah.
So people in my life had opinions about that. How about people in your life? Did they
Yeah.
have any things to say about that?
I initially started it off as a part-time job. So I still maintain my full-time job. At the time I actually left the accounting industry, I was actually managing a small business, a printing business. So in a way, what I told them is, yes, I don't get enough from my radio announcer career, but I will be able to manage it, to balance it. So in a way, that stopped people from, because you didn't give up your career 100%. You still
There was
maintain
like
it.
a soft landing
Yes,
period.
in a way, with a soft landing. But in my heart, I hope that I can be a full-time radio announcer. So
So the universe just worked in your
yeah,
favor
yeah,
when
in a way it
there
did.
was a vacancy in RTM,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yeah. That's how I ended up to be a radio announcer full time. Mm.
What was it like when you first heard yourself on air?
Horrible, horrible.
I highly doubt that because you have a very nice voice suited for radio.
That's the thing, you know. When I was younger, everybody told me that. Even though they don't think it's a profession that I should, go all the way with. But they will say that, oh, you sound good. And then I believe I sound good. And I have sort of been trained to do public speaking because I took part in a lot of public speaking competitions and debates and things like that. So I thought how I hear myself is how everybody hear me. In actual fact, it's not. I think you guys realize now by now. When I got into radio, when I listened to myself on air, I was like, who is that person with the squeaky nasal sound? So horrible. Because what happened is when you speak, you listen to yourself through your body parts, vibration internally, and then you have a different impression of it. And once you go on there, it goes through a lot of channels. It goes through the wave and radio wave and things like that, and it distorts it. And you need to know how to control your sound, your voice, in order to sound good on air. I think I spent about 6 months to 9 months time, probably about a year, to find a way or a sound that I'm satisfied with. At the same time, which is easy for me. So I actually do not speak like this before I become a radio announcer. I have a different tone because I know what the listener need. I always listen to myself. Even now, I listen to myself as a listener. Every time after I do my recording or after I go live, I do listen back to it for maybe like 2 or 3 days after. Then I would know as a listener listening to this radio announcer, is he okay? Does he sound good? Then I would know how to control my voice and sound and things like that. Yeah.
PM, I think we all know this by now that when we are on air, we have to maintain a certain kind of energy. We have to be bubbly. We have to be like fun. Nobody wants to listen to you if you're like sad.
Yeah.
So, but we are human beings. We have things outside of the studio. So how do you maintain that like natural, fun, spontaneous energy when you are doing your job?
I always remind myself when I'm in the studio, I belong to the listeners. I do not belong to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I belong to them, and I have an audience. It's a art form. It's not only about me talking. It's a performance. So it's like when you sing in karaoke and when you sing on stage, it's different. When you sing in your bathroom, it's different. When you sing in your bathroom, you do not have an audience, so you just sing, right? Even
Except for
though
the lizard.
yeah, even though there's an audience too, your neighbors will hear you, but you do not sing for them. But when you sing in the karaoke, you are singing for your friends. You will have
And for other people
yeah, for other
outside.
people.
Yeah.
And when you go on stage to really sing for the audience whom you probably do not know, you will know how to perform. And so every time we walk into the studio, we are actually performing. I have to remind myself, I am performing. So I may not be in a good mood that day. I may, I may have problems that day, but it's not about me. It's about the audience. They do not need to deal with your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bringing in your emotion into it, you means you are making them deal with your problem. No, you are a performer, so you need to, in a way, please them. But at the same time, I also believe that whatever energy you bring into it, you may not feel good that day. You also remind yourself, there are people who may feel the same like you when you're on air. So you are allowed to put in a little bit of your emotion as as a sign that I understand if you feel down now,
Yeah.
because I do not feel good, and you can be vulnerable on air too. It's just that don't make it about yourself. You just have to, admit that or accept that there are people listening to you who doesn't feel it, who don't feel it.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that you hone.
Yes.
Like you said, it took about a year for you to hone that skill.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So PM's show Explain to us again. Your show is on every night,
Yep.
10 to 12.
10 to 12 from Monday to Thursday, and also on Sunday from 9 to 11.
Yes, and that's on 98 FM.
Yes.
And it's so cute. It's called Huggy Moment.
Yep. The concept is to remind our listener to give yourself a hug every day.
That's
because
nice.
it's the end of the day. It's the last 2 hours of the day. However the day went, however you feel, let's give yourself a hug and, say thank you to yourself
Yes.
because you work hard that day.
Correct.
Yeah.
And for us who don't have people to hug us at the end of the day,
Yes.
we hug ourselves.
Yes.
Or your
That-
teddy bear.
yeah, or your teddy bear, yes.
Yes. How did the name for the show become Huggy Moment? Because before we went on air, you said you went through some evolutions in terms of the title of your show. Explain that to us.
Yeah, before that, it was called Night Chat, and then there were a few different official English names. But when it comes to the name, this name was actually adopted about 3 years ago, and we were doing some rebranding, and I used the name of the night edition of a newspaper. In Chinese, we used to have evening edition, which is called Wan Bao. Wan is night, Bao is basically a newspaper. So in Mandarin, in Chinese, the word Bao sounds similar, or it's a different word, but it sounds exactly the same as hug. So I use the term Wan Bao, night hug, instead of night evening newspaper, and adapted into this particular program, because evening edition is probably a history nowadays, but it's a term which everybody remember. Even though you didn't went through the era, you would know, you would heard of it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a familiar term and probably repackaging it. So it's called 晚报好时光. 好时光 means good time. So it's like, let's huggy moments. Yeah, it's basically, that's how the branding came out. And it is very interesting. I have feedbacks which people thought that, oh, you're going to talk about current affair news like that. But once I listen to a program, I totally understand what you're trying to do. And, it's like a hub. It's like a hub with music and stories and, some reminder of how life should be, some deep thought. I do deliver some messages in the program. And yeah.
This is your own wisdom.
In a way, it is. I wouldn't call it wisdom. I always say that it's my way of expressing my thoughts. We do come across things, and because I like to observe people, and I like to, dwell into things, little things, and I do talk about them on air, and I try to package it in a way, delivery in a way whereby it's probably relevant to you. So that everybody feels it, and I try to understand everybody so that everybody can feel like they are being hugged.
That's great. I think for the evening edition shows on radio, when we're driving home and we want a comforting voice, like you said, to give us a perpetual hug,
Yes.
then that's really needed in this climate of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So much bad news globally, internally, so that proverbial hug you give your listeners is much appreciated, if I have to say so myself.
Basically, they are giving me a hug too. I feel like I'm being hugged every time I went on air. Every time I go on there, they'll be sending in messages and talk about their life, and they'll say good night. It's actually very warm.
Yeah, because PM is also on his Instagram, and if you follow PM on Instagram, you can see his stories, and I like those snippets. Again, even though I don't understand Mandarin, when I see your stories, I just watch and I see how you interact with your listeners, and you're so pro at it, and you're so seamless, because you can see my name when I join
Yes.
in, right?
Yep.
And then the names keep coming, and the people who are joining your little conversation.
Yeah.
So I would imagine you have honed your skill in being so natural.
Yeah. in a way, I would say that I'm privileged in this sense because not everybody has a chance to be a radio announcer or to have an audience like that. And I've been doing night show since forever. In actual fact, since I joined the radio industry, there was this one period when which I was doing the morning show, but I still prefer night show. I joined 988 in year 2009, and I have been on the night shift ever since. So it has been, we were counting just now, was like 17 years. So if a baby was born then, it's probably going to, well, we'll be graduating soon.
Sit for SPM.
Yeah, sitting for SPM. So throughout the years, I do realize that my audience change. It's actually very fluid, as in nobody has a fixed lifestyle of only, active at night.
Yeah.
But everybody has a certain stage of life where they are active at night. Maybe because of work, and a lot of time because of when they were students,
Yeah.
preparing for exams and things like that. And when you're doing your master, you'll probably do not sleep that early at night because you have to
True.
do your thesis.
True.
Yeah, but that stage will pass. You will go back to your normal daily life, daily routine, which is mostly active during day. But what happened is throughout these 17 years, my audience grow not because it accumulates, but because a lot of people were active at night at different time, at different points in their life. So I do get feedbacks from a listener who say that they used to listen to me 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they have come to a stage in life whereby they no longer listen to radio, but when they feel lonely, they feel lost, they will switch it back on and they hear me and they say that it's warm, and that's very,
Comforting.
yes, very comforting.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about that, with the rise of streaming services, AI. Oftentimes, these services, yeah, I mean, they offer convenience, but also it's like a one-way street. You get all the content, but you can't give anything back. So having a DJ, like you said, Huggy Moment, like you talk to them, there's like a two-way communication. Like not only that you get to tell the world your story when you call the radio station, but also there's a sense of like being validated, like this is my story and someone is amplifying it, telling it to the rest of the world, so I feel heard in a way that I can be if I were to listen to streaming services.
Correct. And with in the age of AI, what we need now is authenticity.
Yeah.
Knowing that there is a real human being behind that mic that will listen to us and will provide that hug when we need it. Did you know that PM is also an author? PM, you will publish your 11th book in March, and it is a memoir of your DJ career.
Yeah.
Being nothing, trying everything.
Yes.
That's also my motto.
Oh, is it? Great.
I mean, other people might call it Jill of all trades, but I am a constant learner. I feel we learn every day.
Yeah.
There's no stopping to learning, right?
Yeah. I think in a way, it is also has to do with the fact that we are in the media industry. We see
That is true, yeah.
we changes just happen in front of us. We have to catch up to it in a way, and we do see the evolution of everything, and then we realize that we will never be enough in a way. So we open ourselves to all learning opportunity. I think that has a lot to do with it too.
What were your previous 10 books?
It's all contents of, I would say, stories and also segments which I have created for my radio program. Basically, I started publishing books. I would say my first book was before I became a radio announcer. That was just by chance because I was in the printing industry, and then I got to know some friends who encourages me. So I did came up with a book, but that was just something which I do for myself, But I started publishing books seriously annually since 2012 because I want people to know that I have a radio program. It's basically for branding, for
Right.
my night program branding. I was actually given a task by my boss, he said, your listenership, it's basically, pretty well, but what can you do more? I said, okay, I may not be able to, add on to the numbers, but I probably will be able to reach out to people who do not listen to radio through publications. So what happened is, I do write short stories for my on-air segment every day. Those stories are it came out because we are trying to be, to engage with people, to engage with listeners in a way whereby they can relate to. So the most interesting thing about listeners or all of us is we like stories. We like to listen to other people's story, even
Yep,
though
that's
sometimes
true.
it's just gossip. But
Yep.
we
That's
love
what most
that.
stories are.
Yes. So in order to deliver a message, what I do is I put the messages into stories and I write the stories so that you feel like you're listening to stories or gossips, but at the end, you will come to a point whereby you realize it's actually a message. That's how I do it. And it was very, very popular. So what happened was I began collecting them. And a lot of people who missed that segment will actually ask me, can you, re-record it or put it into the podcast? At the time, podcast was still not popular, or put it online and things like that. I said, why don't I just publish it as books? So I publish them, and I go into schools. I give talks in schools with their publication because schools are friendly when it comes to authors, And my writing, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's probably reasonable, good enough to be accepted by the teachers. So I go into schools, and in a way, that is my tool to extend the branding of my radio show of 988 to a wider audience.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that and it just went on and on. I just do it. I kept doing it every year. In a way, it became part of my identity and a part of my radio program identity.
Yes, I think for us in the media industry as well, we need to diversify.
Yes.
As journalists, as DJs, we represent a company that is a diverse, company. But we as individuals as well, being in the industry, we need to evolve as well because times are changing,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
we need to remain relevant.
Totally
right?
agree. So you are
Yeah.
not just a journalist on paper, you are a journalist on air, in
Correct.
podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
You told us that you get a lot of listeners from overseas
Yes. Yes.
because of the time difference.
Because of the time difference, because what happened now is we have our own app, 988 app, which is available throughout the whole world. So people of different time zone do tune in to listen to my program every day. So we have people who are in US, in their time is in the morning. We have people from UK, from Europe. Their time zone is in the afternoon when I was on air. We even have people from Australia, New Zealand, which is actually late at night, in the wee hours. Most of them listen to the program. Most of them are from Malaysia originally. They probably migrated a long time ago. Some of them actually working overseas. Some of them actually studying overseas. So they tune in for the familiarity. They want to feel familiar. Probably they miss home. Probably they need a voice to give them some sort of warmth. But at the same time, it is also a way for them to engage with their family here. They will send in messages and I will read them out. And sometimes I do get their family and friends messages in Malaysia and say that, oh, I heard Aida. She's supposed to be in UK. She share the weather there.
Wow.
It's like a connection thing. And
That's nice.
which is very, very interesting because radio used to be a connection medium.
Yeah.
In our days, when I was a kid, we dedicate songs and things like that.
I remember that.
Yeah,
We,
and
always,
then,
we still do that.
yeah, we
Yeah.
still do that, but it's not the only medium. But somehow it becomes something which is very different when it has an international platform, when there's the internet, and it become a tool for people at different areas, at different places, but who want to connect. And somehow, I think my radio program has a role in it. Yeah, and I'm glad that I can do that.
Yeah, we're glad too, as listeners.
I'm actually interested to know. You've done this for a long time. You've
Yeah.
spoken to countless number of people. There must. Were there any times when you made a slip up, like you made a mistake, you said things you didn't mean to say, and then how did you recover from that in the
Um,
moment?
I wouldn't. I wanted, when you ask the question, I wanted to say all the time. But it's not all the time. It's just like I do have my own standard of how I should perform or how I should deliver a message. Sometimes after I deliver a message, I would say that that wasn't appropriate. I would actually go back to it. I'll go back to it and say, I would just be honest. And not just now I was mentioning Aida was in UK. No, no, she's actually not in UK. No, she's actually in a part of Europe. No, I misspoke. I would just go there. I would go very blunt. So that it's not like how the industry used to be, whereby you has to be a certain form. You can only be perfect. Now people are more acceptance of making mistake, and when you go back to it, people feel like, oh, you're human.
It makes you
Yeah.
more relatable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we just own it. And even though every time if I have messed up, well, in my definition messed up, I would feel horrible because I want my program. I always assume that my on-air program, that particular night it's my last one. That's my attitude, and I want it to be the best, so that if it's my last one, I look back to it. I did my best.
Yep.
I don't want to feel like I just fumble and then just do it as just a job. So even though I do feel bad after, but always
Do your
just
best.
yeah, do my best. I own up to it. I admit it, and yeah, I did misspoke.
Yeah. As the saying goes, you're only as good as your last show.
Yes.
We're only as good as our last story.
Yeah.
It applies to a lot of us, I suppose, right? Have you ever had a caller or listener that whose opinions or something they said stayed with you for a long time?
Um, I do actually. A lot of time, I can't pick out a particular message, but a lot of time, they remind me what I have told them before. We do have thoughts, different kind of thoughts at different point of time. So sometimes, I would actually get reminded. Hey, you used to say that. I got this particular message from you way, way, way back. If you feel like that, why don't you know, listen to yourself. Sometimes it's actually very encouraging because they digested it, they own it as their own, and they feed it back to me. This is something which I enjoy a lot, and also like I was talking about listeners coming back to us like 10 years later. There was this one particular girl, she says she's in China now, in Shanghai, and she just sent in a message, say that she used to listen to me when she was preparing for her SPM. Now she's working overseas. She has a long lost touch with our local radio program, but she was just lost that particular night and that particular era. And then she decided to just tune in, and she sent in, and then she said that you being there reminded me, you being there all these years reminded me that there are things that worth persisting for.
Wow, that must have just gave you all the warm fuzzies,
Yeah.
huggy moments.
Yes, and I included that in my book. Yeah.
About your book and books, are these physical and ebooks?
Physical. My publishing house are still a little bit reluctant when it comes to ebooks. In actual fact, the Chinese book market in Malaysia is not that huge.
I see.
Yeah, it's not that huge. Even though there are a lot of popular author, but in order for it to have a bigger market, we need to venture into market outside Malaysia. Not many of us got a chance to, and because my particular publishing, the purpose of my publication is to brand the radio station, so it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to trying to go overseas. Yeah, so basically it's now physical books, or who knows, maybe in the future there will be ebooks. Mm.
We hope so too. I think, Farid, when it comes to the rise of social media, it has changed the way we connect
Mm.
to DJs and whoever we're listening to on
Listen to music too, yeah.
streaming platforms and all that. So would you consider it to be um, stressful or overwhelming to always be on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, now I'm actually interested too. Like, you're obviously younger, the younger generation.
We're not so far off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
we're
not
not
so
so
far
far.
off.
Yeah.
Farid, maybe yes.
Farid,
Way younger.
to you, radio announcer, will there always be an image, as in how he looks like, how she looks like, when it comes to radio announcer in your experience?
Wait, you're asking me a question?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, come again. What was your question again?
When it comes to radio announcer,
Okay.
will there be a like a imagery, like a person in your mind?
You know, this is something my mom has pointed out.
Yeah.
She said when she was younger, you did not know what radio DJs look like. But nowadays they are like more.
Because of social media.
They're more
Put the
visible.
name to the
You know,
face,
they're
yeah.
more visible. Like you know what that person looks like. For me, I never thought of that, to be honest. You
There's
know?
never a time whereby you do not know how the radio DJ looks like, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to radio, and
Yeah.
there are a number of DJs which I like, and I was like, I don't know what that person looks like, and I don't care what that person looks like as long as I know what the voice sounds like.
Yeah, that used to be how we were when we listened to radio, and that's what I like about radio. I I always think that it's like a behind the scene thing. I I love a lot of radio DJs. I love Patrick Teo. I didn't
Yes,
know
the
how he looked
golden
like. Yeah, the
voice.
golden
I
voice.
just watched him in a play.
Yeah, see?
God's Waiting Room.
Yeah, but when I was young, listening to Radio 4, he was on Radio 4.
That's right, I remember.
I don't know how he looked like. I didn't know how he looked like. But I love the voice. Like Casey Kasem, I listened to American Top 40.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
too.
but I never know how he looks like because he's some foreigner, but it doesn't matter to us. And I always think that being a radio announcer is behind the scene. I'm not the kind of person who want to be seen all the time. I'm just not. So when I got into the radio industry, I thought that I got into something which I can just hide behind the scene in a way. But I got into radio industry just at a point of time whereby radio announcer has to be celebrity too. That was like 2004. That's when the time social media began to be a common thing, and then radio announcers start singing, acting in movies and things like that. And I realized that I had to do that. That was actually a little bit difficult for me initially. If you know, like 988, we come up with Chinese New Year songs every year, and we do have our music video every year, and we have Chinese New Year short films, and we even have Chinese New Year movies. These are all a part of branding radio announcer as celebrity, so that the brand can sell. I had a little bit of difficult time dealing with that. When it comes to social media era, it's another thing. Because you need to be seen in order to be branded or to be heard. So I had to bring myself to a point whereby I had to accept this. It's not something which I should reject or I want to reject, because that is what makes the work available.
Yeah, that's
That's part of the work. So what I do is I embrace it. I believe that the listener need that. They need to know how you look. They need to see you. They need to feel you as a person. If this era, that means singing Chinese New Year songs, acting in the movies, coming out with social media video, yeah, then I'll do it. And I do it with joy, because it complements my radio career. And especially when it comes to, of late, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been making my radio segment into short videos and putting it up. Initially, I did that by just putting in the photos, photos or videos which I think is relevant to the message. The algorithm just rejected it. There's like 1 view, 2 views every time I put out a video, even though it's my it's my radio program. You can hear the message and you have subtitles. No, it doesn't work because they need a face. So in a way, I train myself to face the video camera every time, and I make it into a short videos, and it works. People may not tune into your radio program on time, but they do see you,
They want to see your face.
yeah, on social media, and they
Yeah.
know what you do, and sometimes it lead them back to the radio program. So that is the way it is now. So I'll just have to embrace it, and yeah, that's how
Well,
I deal with it.
We hope you continue to entertain us.
Yeah, I
with
will. I will try
your
to.
comforting voice. But let's wrap up
Mm.
about World Radio Day.
Mm.
What does that day mean to you personally as a DJ and as a listener and just, human being in general? And if radio disappeared tomorrow, what would it look to you?
Um, it will be a pity if radio disappear. What happened now is it's very weird. Radio has an energy which cannot be replaced, and even though we do say that probably radio will disappear because of the whole nature of digitalization of internet, but it somewhat became the most, I would say, trustworthy medium because it's not easily accessible when it comes to delivering or making a radio station. Because social media make it so easy for us to come up with our own podcasts, come up with our own video and things like that, doing live. There are a lot of mixed messages, and some of them you do not know whether they are trustworthy or not. But radio somehow throughout the process remain as something which is trustworthy. Radio announcers are of certain quality.
Yes,
The
they are.
messages we deliver are trustworthy. We just like how journalists are. Traditional newspaper, the brand is there, and so if we say, or you want me to imagine radio disappear, it means there will no longer be any media which is trustworthy.
Yeah, that is true.
So I would love radio to remain in a way the way it is, well controlled, well filtered. Even though when talk about control and filter, you will say, media freedom, what about that? It has come to a different era. This has come to a part whereby we need to know what is authentic, what is true, and what is fake, and we can't get that in social media or other media platform. And radio and also newspaper, traditional media are the one who, in a way, have a system and structure to protect that. And I hope that radio can maintain that, and and be that. So when it comes to World Radio Day, it's a reminder of trustworthy medium.
That's right. It speaks a lot about our company and organizational as well.
Yes.
People want a trustworthy medium. Any parting thoughts for it?
You've given me plenty to think about. I'll probably go back to my car and then switch on the radio and be like,
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, PM.
Yes.
It was a privilege for you to join us today. This was interesting and a fun and insightful conversation. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll be back with our next episode, and please view our previous episodes on Style Online and YouTube.